service quality in the business by lifting our Skytrax rating from a 3-star to a 4-star. Now, Skytrax is the preeminent rating agency in the world for airlines. They put ghost flyers through your whole service experience. They send them to book tickets. They send them to check in. They put them on a flight. They get them when they get off to see how you handle baggage. And these ghost flyers put in reports. And from that you then get rated, together with customer complaints and customer online ratings. And our objective was to lift us from the group we were in. The 3-star group is 146 airlines, to the 4-star, which is only 30-odd airlines, quite an elite group. And in that group is Emirates, Etihad, Air France, Qantas, British Airways, Lufthansa. That's the group to move to. Then there's the 5-star group, which there are only a handful. And these are the airlines that are innovators. And that includes Singapore, Qatar, and Hainan, the Chinese carrier. That's our ultimate target. But to do that, you need new generation aircraft. You need the latest and the best aircraft in terms of technology and seating and so on. So that will be our next target once we get the new generation aircraft. So let me go to step 5. Step 5 has been a key step we've been working on for 2 years. But remember what the Prime Minister said. We first get back to profits and then we focus on the refleeting. Although we didn't stop working on it, they all worked simultaneously. So here you can see our current fleet. Owned. We own them and they paid off. We own nothing on them. We have 3 A340 Classics, an Airbus 319 and an ATR. Those 3 Classics have ages ranging from 15.4 years to 19.8 years. That is old for an aircraft. They're safe. We maintain them at the highest standard of airworthiness, but the product is old. The seats are old. The in-flight entertainment is analog, which means that you have to watch one movie after another. You can't choose a movie and watch, which are the AVOD systems. So we have old product on those planes. Then down here on operating lease, we have 1 340 Classics that's 17.8 years old. So I've blocked the 4 Classics that we have. Classic old. And we've got 2 enhanced 340s, which are the long-haul aircraft. They're 7.7 years old. They're a little bit more modern, but they have the same seats, but the modern AVOD entertainment systems. So that's our long-haul fleet. The 3 340s and the 1 340 here, plus the 2 enhanced. There's 6 A340s. And that's what we're talking about in terms of the fleet renewal. As you heard, that generates half the income revenue that Air Mauritius earns, more than half. So again, we face a very important situation. Not replacing these aged 340s is not sustainable. Today, Emirates fly with the latest 380s and 777s to Mauritius. British Airways with a 777, Air France with a 777, all new modern aircraft. And we fly 19-year-old aircraft in competition. It's not a competition. And we have to change these aircraft. Firstly, they age. Secondly, they have 4 engines versus the 2 engines of the aircraft the competitors fly that are 25% more fuel efficient. And maintenance costs are screaming through the roof. In fact, as a rule of thumb, when an aircraft is 15 years old, every year thereafter, maintenance goes up 7.5 to 10% a year, which our airfares don't go up 7.5 to 10% a year. So that just means it erodes our competitive capability in the business. It's uncompetitive because if you take the seat mile cost, the cost of operating per seat, ours is much higher than our competition, which means that they can be more flexible in pricing and we're less flexible. We do not have full lie-flat beds in business. Our business class seats have a slight slope, and the standard today in business class is full lie-flat. And I've already mentioned we don't have AVOD entertainment systems in the 4 Classics. We have analog systems that you have to go one movie after another and you're limited as to the number of movies. To give you an example, Emirates on their 380s coming in and 777 offer 1,000 movies as a choice. We have 8. Now when I've got 8 movies you've got to watch one after another versus 1,000, it's a huge difference. And that's our challenge with these fleets. So refleeting with new generation aircraft has been an urgent, critical priority for Air Mauritius for 2 years. And in fact before. Because ideally we should have changed our aircraft when they were 15 years old. And you heard airlines like Singapore change them when they're 5 years old. That's why they're 5-star. Now, we're reaching 20 years. We're 5 years behind. So we set very clear criteria when we started deciding which aircraft we're going to refleet with and then negotiating. And the first criteria was the aircraft has to be able to perform our mission. What do we mean by a mission? Where we fly to. And without a stop en route to pick up fuel, and efficiently and can carry cargo for the cargo demand we have. The second is we need them very urgently. We're already behind. So the availability is very important. Thirdly, the right price. Now the way aircraft manufacturers price, Boeing and Airbus, is they have a catalogue. And you're given the catalogue price. And then you negotiate discounts. Not very different to a car. You negotiate, and the harder you negotiate and you get concessions of the price, it becomes your final price. The problem is the catalogue prices today, and delivery could be many years in ahead. So for example, in 2019 we can get 2 deliveries from Boeing or Airbus. The price is quoted in 2014. So the price escalates every year. And part of the negotiations is to cap that escalation. So it's not only the discount off the catalogue price, it's capping escalations and other concessions that we've got to negotiate with them. They've got to be fuel efficient, 2-engine. We want performance guarantees and remedies if they don't deliver. Now why do we say that? The Boeing 787 and the Airbus A350 are new generation. They have not been operating yet. In fact, the 787 has just been released and the A350 will be in August. And then there will be a few years of operating before we get one. But we're doing our economic evaluations on figures they're giving us today. The planes still have to operate. So we insisted that we get performance guarantees, that whatever numbers they've given us, we want black and white guarantees with remedies if it does not pan out at the levels they told us. There's conversion and training costs that we want covered, and we've got to make sure that we're stepping up our comfort in the cabin, because we want to be better, or at least equal to the best in the world today. And that was a very important criteria. And finally, all of this comes down into our business plan. A 12-year business plan, income statements, balance sheets and cash flows. That must be the best for Air Mauritius. So a nice aircraft, a modern aircraft, with lovely seating and all that's important, fuel efficient, but it's got to make profits and it's got to give us the cash flows to sustain the business. So all of that boils down into a 12-year business plan. So here are the 2 candidates that meet our mission requirements. And you'll see we say the 2 aircraft that can perform our long-haul missions. And the first is the Airbus A350-900 and the second the Boeing 787-9. You'll see that in terms of range, very similar. 8,100 nautical miles, 8,300 nautical miles. Both will come into service this year, July 14 for the 787 and August-September for the 350-900. The maximum takeoff weight of the Airbus is 272 tons versus 250, so the Airbus is a bigger aircraft. It's powered by Rolls-Royce. This one can be powered by either Rolls-Royce or General Electric. To date, There are 539 orders for the 350 that have been signed, and there are 409 for the 787. The seating. Now, we have specific seating we wanted in the aircraft. We wanted to have a certain number of seats in economy and business, and a certain width and a certain pitch, which you'll see on the next slide. And based on that requirement, we can fit 312 seats in the 350 versus 285 in the Boeing 787. So more seats in the Airbus. The Airbus is called the A350-XWB, standing for extra wide body, the tube. So the tube, or the cross-section of the 350 is wider than the Boeing. So that automatically means wider seats, which you can see in the seat width in economy. 9 abreast, which means 3 aisle, 3 aisle. The Airbus has an 18-inch seat, and you can only fit a 17-inch in the Boeing. And the tons of payload that we can carry, people and cargo, is 47.5 tons on the Airbus versus 44 tons on the Boeing being slightly smaller. So those are the two candidates that can do the job. And we then went to Boeing and Airbus and started negotiating. So, if I recap, the 900 has 312 seats, 13 business, 282 in economy. The Boeing 787, 285 seats, 28 in business, 257 in economy. In terms of seat width, 22.5 inches business, 21 inches business. Narrower body or cross-section and a slightly wider, giving you 18 inches in economy versus 17.2. So those are very important statistics.